wondering why I'm wearing this mask, it's because I don't want my wife to see me in close contact with another human being without one on. All right, introduce yourself.
I'm Roger Jeck from Vermillion, South Dakota.
And Roger is down here because he bought a 300 CD in Birmingham, and we're looking at the car together to see what it needs and, you know, maybe giving Roger some advice he can actually use in this car. So, Roger, tell me why a 300 CD and what other Mercedes have you owned in the past as well? It's a two-part question.
I've worked construction growing in college, and a guy that we did some work for had almost the exact 300 CD that I bought, and I've always liked the coupes that Mercedes built. I've had a 91 W126 coupe,
560 SEC.
560 SEC. I have 3 W210 wagons,
which are quite useful for what you're doing.
A W211 wagon,
mm-hmm.
and an R129 SL600.
Was one of your kids driving the wagon?
He was driving one of my, the E320.
Yeah, those are good cars for kids who are learning how to drive.
Yeah.
So one of the problems that I see a lot of the time when people buy cars off of eBay is that sometimes the car may not be as good as they expected it to. What was your impression of your eBay purchase?
Well, this was a bring-a-trailer.
Oh, it was on that! Oh, boy!
That's your favorite beat-up.
Oh, man. So let me tell you, what were your expectations and what did reality look like?
Well, it all had to do with the guy I bought the car from was extremely forthright and honest. Took a lot of pictures for me and videos. And
were there any issues it had that you weren't aware
of? Not really. It's a lot of times I think it's in some people just don't know how to describe their car. So
yes.
In terms of, I'm a big deal about rust. So I don't want to do any rust work. I don't mind doing.
Well, that car has some rust.
Yes, and I knew it had some. I don't think he knew, and I tried to ask the right questions to have him look at things. So I got most of my questions answered, but more or less it was what I was anticipating.
Okay, well that's good.
But my expectations weren't super high.
I think what the car sold for is in line with its market value. What did you pay for it?
$64.77.
Right, so that's like in line with what you'd expect for like a 150,000 mile 83 300 CD. And the car had blue leather, which adds a little bit of value to it. Silver, which adds a little bit of value to it. I guess like here, okay, so here's the funny part. Did you feel that you had to compete heavily to purchase the car with other bidders?
Yes and no. It seems like with Bring a Trailer, there's a problem getting your bids in at the last point, and
mm-hmm.
I think it's more with a problem with Bring a Trailer. I'm not a technical person.
Did you run into that? Did you run into the bid bottleneck?
The guy that I won it from did. So I was the last man standing
okay. Were there two bidders?
There were about 4 altogether starting, and then it came out halfway around $5,500. It was just he and I.
Okay. Yeah. So like in the real world, I would say that you probably bought a $5,500 car with a $900 Bring a Trailer premium. That
was my $5,500 was about where I wanted to be.
Which is fine. I say anything under $1,000 is no harm, no foul, and you're right there. But it's interesting because I think when you put a car on BAT and you describe the car honestly, you get a more realistic market price for it. But I think a lot of, personally, do you feel that a lot of cars in Bring a Trailer are overhyped?
Overhyped in a certain sense. Like I have 100 Series Land Cruiser as well, and those are hot right now.
They've been hot.
But sometimes they'll bring good money, and sometimes or way more than they're worth.
Yeah.
And it's a question: what is something worth? It's what somebody's willing to pay, depending on how much work it needs. From my perspective, so.
Right. Well, you're more familiar with the housing and real estate market than the car.
I have a car disease, so I fall in love with them. So I pay
Right.
that penalty.
Yeah, I know that penalty too. I mean, I was recently involved in a transaction where I was trying to buy back a car that a customer had stolen out of my shop, a 75 280S.
Oh, God.
And I bid that damn car up to $8,000. And nobody calls me and says, "Hey, I want a 75 280S." Okay, this is literally like somebody, calling you and saying, "I want a shack in the worst part of town, but I want the best one." But that's kind of how it was. And somebody bid $8,500 on that thing. It was through a Ritchie Brothers equipment auction. So either there was some kind of scam going on, or I just, the disease kicked in, like you said, and I'd like to think it was the second one. But I find that like the classic car market, especially like the bring a trailer market, is, I don't know, it can be an easy place to get taken advantage of. It's nice to see that you didn't, go full, what do they say when you're playing poker and you go all in? Yeah, I didn't go all in and put some stupid $10,000 bid in, which I have talked to people that have done that.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, and then when you have two guys doing that,
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to drive the car back to South Dakota now.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Well, we can't wait to hear how your trip goes. And so one of your other Mercedes, I heard you say, is an SL600 in R129.
Yep, 98.
98. Okay. Have you had any issues with that car, and how many miles does it have?
I just turned over 70,000 miles.
Pretty low mileage car.
The only issues, well, right now I replaced the header cylinders proactively, or had them rebuilt in Oregon.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want the leather to get ruined by leaking cylinders.
Errant hydraulic fluid spraying in your eye.
And changed out the fluid and so I sent the block and the two cylinders up to Oregon, had them rebuilt.
Good.
Got all that back together. And then after a winter of the car being in heated storage and with no battery in it in that particular one, the top isn't working correctly, so I'm assuming I have something out of sync or a switch.
Oh man, yeah, it's probably a micro switch or something. Good luck with that. So,
otherwise, mechanically, it's been great.
Yeah,
but it hasn't been. It's been like a convertible. It's not been used a whole lot.
What do you do if you have to diagnose something?
I've never had to diagnose anything. It's always been like a hard hydraulic type thing, not a dark arts electrical.
Right. Okay. So you haven't had any electrical or diagnostic issues?
Not a bit.
Well, you're a lucky man. Anyway. Okay. Well, there you have it. Roger, thank you. And I wish you good luck on your trip home. And in the meantime, if you ever want to be interviewed, stop in. We'll have a lot of fun together. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and please like, share, and tap the bell for notifications. And leave your comments below if you saw Roger's car and bring a trailer and what you thought of it. Thanks.